Right, welcome everybody. I make it 8 o'clock here in Dubai, so time to start the webinar. My name is Professor Tim Campbell. I'm a visiting professor of international management at the University of Northampton, and I also look after the MBA program, our Executive MBA program that we run here in the Middle East and attract students from Africa, and now that the workshops are virtual, beyond. So welcome to you all from wherever you are joining this. What I want to do tonight is just firstly to show a very short presentation about the Northampton EMBA program. It'll take only about 15 minutes, and then after that I'll answer any questions that you've got. Okay, so let's begin then with the presentation, and my first slide actually isn't about Northampton, it's about Stafford, because you might be wondering what the relationship between the two companies are, because you would be given the information about the program from Stafford, and you'll be here tonight because you've been invited by our academic consultants. So just a quick slide to explain what the two companies do. So you would have seen the Stafford's website and seen that it's the very first provider of distance learning education in the Middle East. Way back in 1993 it was established. And Stafford is currently the resource centre for 6 UK universities and has programs all the way from certificates to doctorates and all types of different subject areas. And what Stafford does is offers marketing, student recruitment, administration and student support services to help our partner universities locally. So that's of course something that's very difficult for the University of Northampton to do from Northampton. It's easier for Stafford to do with its offices around in the Middle East, Canada, Africa and other parts of the world. But what's really important is that that's what Stafford's role is, about the marketing and recruitment types of service. Once you're actually on the program, you're entirely a student of the University of Northampton. You're bound to all of the rules and regulations of the university. You're taught by academics from the university, and your degree entirely comes from the university. So this slide is to explain how Stafford fits into the program itself. Let's get on to Northampton then. So some of you may have possibly been to Northampton, probably not, but that arrow there on the UK map points Northampton out. It's about 100 kilometres north of London, about an hour by train. It's a very old historic town. It's been around for an awfully long time, thousands of years, and appears throughout English history. And in Northampton, of course, you will find the University of Northampton, which used to be just on the outside of the town, just on the outskirts. But the new campus opened in August 2018, and it's now right in the middle of the town. Brand new campus, and it's everything in between those red dots. It was a $500,000 investment, so it was a massive investment, but it really is an impressive campus. I've been there a few times myself, and very much state of the art and technology driven, which has turned out, of course, to be very, very forward thinking, because what we've needed to do because of COVID and a lot of things are virtual and being run through technology. The university found that it was already set up for those types of things. And in fact, if I go back to the front, you'll see me, there's a part of the new university there. That's what it looks like. Anyway, that's the campus. So it's a nice big campus right in the middle of Northampton. Have a look at the website for all the information about it. I'm sure you will. But education in Northampton dates back a long time, right back to about the 13th century. But the modern university's origins are about 100 years old, to about the 1920s. And there's in the region of 14,000 students, about 1,500 staff. But let's get on to the MBA program. That's what we're here for, the Executive MBA. And let's begin with the program itself. So you'll see from this slide that there are 8 modules. And the first module that you'll study is critical issues in business. And then you will make your way from one side of that to the other, where you end with a business research project, or a dissertation, as some of you might have heard, might be more familiar with the term. So we see the program as a nice mix of your traditional MBA, which the traditional MBA will basically teach you about the functions of business and management. It'll teach you about human resource management, about strategy, about accounting and finance, about marketing, all of those types of things. And you'll see all of that here in the program. But there's also some nice new contemporary stuff that you'll cover in critical issues in business, covers innovation, leadership, some of these other types of topics we talk about more recently as well. So the program itself is nice and simple, 8 modules. You make your way from one end through to the other. So to get from one end through the whole program takes about 18 months. As you would have seen from that last slide, there's 8 workshops in total. So you will do a live synchronous workshop with your tutor, with your Northampton tutor, which is on a Friday and a Saturday. And then you'll be supported using the virtual learning environment until you hand in your assignment about 6, 7, 8 weeks later. It depends a bit between the modules. And then you start your next module. So that's how it progresses all the way through. One module at a time, have your live workshops, learn all about what you need to know. You then use your virtual learning environment until you hand in your assignments, and on you go all the way through. So these workshops that I'm talking about, we used to run them face-to-face here in the United Arab Emirates, but that was before COVID. Of course, things have changed, so now we have to run them virtually. And the university has a dedicated virtual classroom technology it uses called Blackboard Collaborate, and it works very well. So the only thing that's changed, that instead of coming here to the UAE and seeing your teacher in front of you, you'll be taught exactly the same things by the same teacher, but this time you're going to be doing it through the computer, of course, because at the moment we just can't hold face-to-face workshops. And unfortunately, it's very difficult to know when we will be able to. So that's how the program works. But so these sessions are live, they're synchronous, they're just virtual. Next start date, we're getting up to intake 28, incredibly, and we have 3 intakes a year. So this program's been running, well, that's all nearly 10 years, isn't it? And that's on the 5th and the 6th of November. So it may seem quite a long time away, but it's really not. So it's best to get those applications in as quickly as you can. So what happens in these workshops? Well, it depends on the tutor, it depends on the subject. For example, I teach the organizational behavior module, and exactly what I do might be a little bit different, will be different obviously in terms of content to what the finance or marketing people will do. But in general, these are the sorts of things that we try to do. We introduce the key concepts, we have short case studies, exercises, business games, these types of things. We don't just talk for all the time. We demonstrate where to find your resources. The university has an extensive online library. There's no need to go out and buy books or get resources from anywhere else. Everything you need is available on the university's electronic library. And then importantly, in those workshops, we explain how to successfully complete the assignments. And even though we're doing them virtually, we still get really good satisfaction with these workshops. Students really do still like them. So that's the workshops. Assessments. So all of these modules are assessed through some form of an assignment. So it could be an essay, it could be a report, a case study. In the finance module, half of the mark is a multiple choice quiz. So there's just all sorts of various different ways that we assess based on assignments. There are no exams where you actually have to sit down and write something for 2 hours. And the reason for that is the university far prefers assignments because it gives you time to think and construct your assignments, to find literature, formulate your arguments, these types of things. Whereas exams are really more about how much you can remember. So the university feels that these other types of assessment are more useful for executive MBA students. And then when you get to that business research project, that last module, that's when you will actually do some research, and that's your big piece of work. That's about 15,000 words, and you'll have a supervisor from the university that helps you out with that. Entry requirements. The standard entry requirements is a bachelor's degree and 2 years relevant work experience. If you don't have a bachelor's, then we're looking for more work experience, 5 years at least. And when I say relevant, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to have the word manager in your title, in your job title. It just means that the applicant can demonstrate managerial responsibilities, that you have some responsibility in planning work, organizing work, leading people, controlling what's done. And when you look at what you do, you'll probably find you have some of those responsibilities. So just a few more things from me. Loads of support for this program. There's the University of Northampton program leader, who you will meet in the business research project module. She teaches that. There's the local program leader. There's me, who I live in Dubai and look after it. Every module has an expert tutor, so it'll be a different tutor for each module depending on what it is. There's loads of administration support in Northampton, and we can even help you locally with your consultants from Stafford or from the administration team at Stafford. If you can't find what you're looking for, we can help point you in the right direction. The virtual learning environment I mentioned is called NILE, the Northampton Integrated Learning Environment. On here, every module has a NILE site, and on that site is where you'll find the virtual classroom. It's where you access all your resources. It's where your tutor will post anything they think that's relevant, such as lecture slides or readings or whatever. It's where you submit your assignment. So everything you need to do, you do through that NILE site. And as I mentioned, there's a very extensive online library as well, more than you would ever need to complete your assignments. So why the Northampton MBA? And I write this slide because over the years I've taught on many MBA programs. So just, they all differ in their own ways. And this is just why I think the Northampton MBA program is particularly good. Firstly, it's a very competitive price. Now, to see the price, please look on the Stafford website because it can change between intakes. So I want to make sure you're getting the correct price. But anyway, when you see it, you see it is a very good price for the type of model that it is. Remember, it is not an online program. We're having to teach virtually at the moment, but it is a taught part-time program officially, not online. The duration is good, it's 18 months. I find students can motivate themselves for that period of time, but also fit in work, family commitments, those other types of things as well. So the duration tends to be quite, I find, is good. There's lots of support, teaching is good, and the assessment methods as well, I think, are really useful to help you actually learn and apply what you're learning to the job. And that's what I put in my last little paragraph here. It strongly emphasizes vocational, job learning, as well as the theories. And this is attractive to employers who are more interested in practical knowledge, and also makes studying for the Executive MBA more enjoyable and relevant to the students. So what I'm saying is Northampton's particularly good at looking at the practical elements of management. Whereas some other MBA programs can be very theoretical, whereas Northampton's a nice mix. It really does bring out the practical stuff as well. Okay, how are we getting on? Look at that, I think I'm bang on time. I am, 1/4 of an hour, very good. So now's my time to take any questions that you've got, and the easiest way to do that is to use that little question box there, which I'm going to bring out now, and just type in your question and I'll answer it for you. There we go, lots of questions. So first question, I've completed an MBA from another university. Can I get exemptions, or do you provide credits for a postgraduate diploma? Oh, I should have mentioned this actually, I forgot. The MBA does have a top-up. So that means if you've completed a postgraduate diploma, you have the equivalent of 120 UK credits. And if you've done one of these, you'll know what I'm talking about. Then you just need to do the critical issues module and the business research project module. So you can top up to your MBA. So for those of you who already have 120 credits at level 7, you'll be able to top up to your MBA just by doing those 2 modules. And please talk to your academic consultant at Stafford about that. And then the other part of the question was, I've completed an MBA from another university, can I get exemptions? I think maybe what you meant was you've completed some modules from an MBA at another university. Because if you completely completed an MBA, you can't switch it for another MBA. You've completed and you've taken it. But if you've finished some modules of an MBA and then stopped at another university, you might be eligible for exemptions on this program if it can match to what we do on our program. So talk to your academic consultant about that. Next question. I've noticed the workshops are virtual. Yes. Do these get recorded? Yes, they do. So if you can't attend, you'd simply be able to watch the recordings, which is very useful. Will online distance learning be on the degree, certificate and transcript? No, it will not. Remember, it's not an online degree. Officially, the mode is part-time. And as I said, we used to actually teach the workshops face-to-face pre-COVID times. We still do exactly the same thing. We just use technology to facilitate it now. So no, there's no online distance learning on the degree or transcript. I've looked at the university website and the modules offered via Stafford differ than those on the website. Why is this so? That's true. It's because the University of Northampton has a lot more, they have hundreds of people doing their MBA program on campus. So it means they can offer more of a selection of modules. We don't have those sorts of numbers, so we can't offer lots of different electives. So what we've done is we've just picked what we think are the most important modules that come together to make a really good executive MBA program. Next question. What is the difference between the executive MBA and the one offered via Stafford? Not sure I understand that one, Rana. This program, oh, maybe you mean the other MBA programs offered by Stafford. Yeah, I bet that's what you mean. So this is an executive MBA programs, and with the E in front, executive means it's for working people. And so the program itself will be taught accentuating practical elements. It'll be reflecting on, participants will be able to reflect on their own experiences. And so it's geared and taught towards people who are actually working. Other MBA programs, they may not need to have work experience to get on them. Not necessarily the ones at Stafford. I think all of those, in fact, they all do require work experience. But MBA, if you have an MBA from some other universities, you may not require work experience. EMBAs are specifically for people who are working. Okay, in your opinion, is the MBA very difficult? You do need to realize it's a UK university master's level degree. So there is certain standards and effort that you certainly must put in. But certainly with the amount of students who successfully get through the program, it's very high. So as long as you put the work in, your chances are you will get through it. And the next part of your question, you're saying, you think I will manage because of having lots of responsibilities? Yes, because all of our students work. So they all manage it. And I say our success rates are very high. So I think you should be able to manage it as well. And how many hours a day must I dedicate to studying? This is a difficult one, but when I talk to students, they say if you can put in about 8 hours a week, then you're probably going to be okay. And that might be an hour, a couple of hours, 4 nights a week, or you might throw it all one day in the weekend or something, however you divide it up. But some students obviously will have to work harder, and some students might find things come to them a little bit easier. So it does depend on the module. It depends on whether, a module might be finance where you need to work harder, but easier for marketing, for example. So there are different variables around that, but I suppose about 8 hours is a good benchmark. Do you accept exemptions based on extensive work experience? Not exemptions based on work experience. But the good thing about that is if you do have extensive work experience, you're going to have a lot to draw on for the assignments and a lot to contribute to the class itself. But not exemptions for work experience, though. The next is about submitting a personal statement. Why is this important and what does the university look for? Personal statement the university just wants to make sure that you've really thought about what you want to do, because it is a commitment and resources and time and money and all sorts of things. So in the personal statement, you just need to say, why you want to do the MBA, how it's going to help you in your career and those types of things. Couple more questions. Why does this MBA not have EMBA accreditation and is it necessary? Yes, AMBA accreditation, for those of you who don't know, is the Association of MBAs, which is a private organization that accredits MBA programs. And once you pay your money and you get the auditors through, the AMBA people will stamp your degree and say you can call yourself AMBA. And so it's a measure of quality, and it has its place. But I think you need to remember that UK universities are already accredited. You know, they already must be to be a UK university to be able to award degrees. They're already very rigorously quality assured by the government, by the government's quality assurance agency, and now the Office for Students as well. So whether they really need this extra stamp of approval from a private body is, you know, it's a little bit debatable. It depends whether you think it's important or not. Where am I then? Here we are. Why are there no specialisms in the MBA? There aren't on this one. It's a general MBA, so we just have the key topics that we think you will need. Rather, it covers the key MBA topics rather than specializing in one particular area, which we think is the best thing for this program as a general MBA. Of course, there are other programs, the MBA programs, that do have specialisms, but not this one, because we think we have a nice general MBA program that's applicable to everyone, no matter what industry you're in, no matter what organization you're in. We think this is applicable for all. Last question. Good evening. Good evening, Ahmed. I have already applied and waiting the offer. Oh, very good. My question is about previous intakes. How long it usually takes for a student to complete the Executive MBA at the UON? It takes about 18 months, Ahmed, for everybody, because the timetables are set. So when you do your workshops, you'll have a set timetable when you hand in your assignments. So you should have that timetable, actually. Your academic consultant, I'm sure, has sent it through to you. So there's a very clear start and end date. You'll actually be able to see when it starts, and then you'll be able to see when you hand in your last assignment. And you'll see that it varies a little bit between intakes, or whether intakes going over the summer and various things, but you'll see it's about 18 months. Perfect. I think I've managed to answer all those questions. By the way, Ahmed, if you've already applied, I look forward to seeing you on in November in the first module and in the induction as well. Oops, anyway, if there is something that comes to you, there we are. There's my email address. You can just email me anytime anyway. So thanks for listening, everyone. Hope you found it useful and informative, the presentation, and I very much hope I'm going to see you on the program in the next intake in November. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.